Um, I don't know why I canceled a minute ago. I'm trying to find some shade. Doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to find any. So I'm probably just gonna have to stay close. So if it looks like it's hot outside, believe me, it is it is that hot outside. And I know it's been a while since I've done a video. Um, you know, I'm just gonna be honest. Uh, I got to a point where I kind of just felt disappointed. I kind of felt let down because all the other channels that I had on Facebook and YouTube did a lot better. They did really well. And then when this one didn't do good at all, I kind of felt disappointed, so to speak. So I just quit posting for a while. I don't really remember where I left off, but so I got a new title for you, and basically I'm just I'm just gonna roll with it, and we're gonna pick up from here, and just go from here. To all you guys who don't know, my name's TJ. I run this channel. I am second generation trucker 251, and I'm out here and boy am I trucking, and I'm trying to spread the knowledge. I'm trying to share the love, and I'm trying to help a lot of drivers out and a lot of new guys out. You know, if they'll take my advice. Um, One thing I just want to point out is truck driving is serious. You know what I'm saying? It can be fun at times, but for the most part, it's serious. You know what I'm saying? People get hurt out here. And I know you've probably heard it time and time again, but these people are right when they say it. It's not a job, it's a lifestyle. You know, but it's real. People are doing it out here. People are getting hurt out here, and then you got million-mile drivers like these 12 trucks behind me. You know, you got million-mile drivers out there who've been doing it, staying, keeping the courtesy alive, keeping the respect going, and you know, owning and operating and driving safely. You know, but let's jump into this topic. So I know I said it, but I'll say it again. What's up, y'all? This is TJ. You're watching Second Gen Trucker 251. If you don't know where that story came from, my dad is the first generation. I'm the second generation, and I run this YouTube channel. So, as you probably noticed, this video is titled "Brakes and Grades." Okay, and some of this applies to regular everyday driving. Some of it applies to going down grades and things of that nature, weaving in and out of mountains and stuff. Okay. So one thing I want to talk about is always, always, always check your brakes. No matter where you're driving, whether you're driving 5 feet down the road or 500 miles down the road, always check your brakes because you may not be heavy loaded or in a situation where you're going down a steep hill or both combined. You might be in a little simple situation where you're on flat, easy moving ground and a curve appears or a drop off appears or a sharp turn appears or a car just runs out in front of you. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't got brakes, you can't stop. A lot of people think this saying is funny, but if you go fast, you got to be able to stop fast. Well, in this situation, I don't really use that. I like to say personally, uh, If you're gonna run loaded, you need to stop loaded. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't really know what that means, but you don't want your freight scattered all over the road, if that makes sense. So you got to be able to know without a shadow of a doubt whether you're bobtailing or hauling, whatever you're doing, that if you're going down the road, you can stop in a safe, courteous, and professional manner. So no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're at, no matter where you're driving or what you're hauling, always, always, always check your brakes and make sure they're working properly. Okay? All that BS that you heard in school about not having to adjust your brakes yourself and you'll never run in that situation, always let the mechanic do it, blah 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 blah. Let that go out the window, you know what I'm saying? Let them say what they're going to say in school, but as soon as you get out, don't take that to heart because that's not true. You need to know how your brakes work. You need to know how they function, and you need to know how to make a slight adjustment or uh, minor repair if necessary. And that goes for anything on your truck. Okay. Now, grades. Be careful out here when you're traveling through these mountains, especially in high wind areas, animal prone areas where there's no lights. For instance, I was coming through Flagstaff last night, and the part that I came through, luckily it kind of changed as you went. So, and I'm not the first one that said this, but so this is basically what happens when you're rolling through Flagstaff. You got two really bad grades. Okay. They're not extremely bad for veteran drivers, but I have seen veteran drivers get nervous. And what you should. You should never become comfortable with grades. You should be able to become comfortable enough to control and handle and maintain control of the situation, but you don't want to become comfortable where you think you can just run however you want coming down these hills. Okay. With that being said, I've seen even veteran drivers get nervous over this stuff. Okay. This is no joke. This is real shit out here. Okay. All right. So, for instance, I was coming through Flagstaff the other night, right? And when you're first coming through, there's no street lights, there's no warnings, there's no signs, there's no hill climb, there's no hill descend, no animal warnings, nothing. And as you climb higher and higher up the mountain, there goes one light and then a couple lights and then this section of the road's lit up and then now all this section of the road's lit up and there's be careful of this kind of animal. Watch out for those kind of animals. You got a 4% grade, you got a 6% grade, as you're going. But some of these places that you go out here, fellas, ladies, teams, whatever, trainers, remember to tell your students, some of these places that you go out here, they're not well lit. So even if, and it may seem like common sense hearing somebody say that, but until you're there or a student that's unaware of that area is there and then he doesn't know what he's running up on, you could have warned him ahead of time. So this is my reaching out, telling you guys, even though it may seem like common sense, you need to warn these guys and girls out here. Some of these areas that you're gonna run on, they're not well lit and the signs are hidden. And then if you don't get the sign in time and you come on the other side of that summit and you go to descend, it's over with before you even started. Okay? So please be aware, please pay attention and go slow and take your time. There's no reason to rush. There's no reason to haul ass. There's no reason to look badass coming down these summits, okay? It's all about getting you and your truck and whoever's with you or whatever freight you have with you down that summit or down that grade in a safe, professional, and courteous manner. And the reason why I say check your brakes also is like, for instance, it's not mandatory. Some companies label it mandatory, and some states label it mandatory. In this situation, it wasn't. I was coming through Flagstaff, and there's a brake checkpoint almost about halfway up this mountain. I cannot tell you how many people fully loaded, maybe even heavier than we were, ran right past it. And it ain't that they weren't paying attention, because you can hardly get up that mountain. You're going about five, you're about in five or third, maybe sixth or seventh gear coming up that mountain. So you're not moving very fast. Okay, and they were just passing these checkpoints like they weren't nothing. And then those were the guys that almost flipped over the guardrail. Those were the guys that there's reasons why there's crosses buried in the ground coming down these grades and by these summits, because people don't stop and take the necessary precautions. People, you don't even you might be sitting there going, well, I don't know how to adjust and check and all this, and I don't really want to learn. It ain't even about that. Your truck will tell you, your truck will talk to you, because sooner or later you're going to know that truck like the back of your hand, and you're going to know everything it can handle, and you're going to know everything it can't handle. So even when sometimes when you stop, just let it talk to you. Just let your truck talk to you, and you'll know what to do. But yeah, definitely be careful of these grades out here, because it's no joke. It's not anything to play with. It's real life. And like last night, we were 43,000 pounds, and the trailer almost caught on fire. By the time we made it down the mountain, we didn't have any brakes left. We were using the transmission to stop at stoplights. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people out there. Well, oh, that's just that company for you. They're full of BS. Or that trainer, shame on him. He didn't know what he was doing. Or man, I can't believe that student had to witness that or go through it. Where's that trainer at? Blah blah blah. It was nothing that he did. We got our truck serviced in Atlanta, and it started getting crappier as time went on, and we sat in Atlanta for like almost a week. We needed to run, we needed to get out. We didn't know the truck was that bad. Everything seemed like it was working normal. So I stopped at a rest area in New Mexico, and I noticed that the Jake brake wouldn't come on, and the cruise control wouldn't come on uh, about halfway into Albuquerque and into Arizona. So that's when we started to notice that things were kind of going upside down. Which at that point, we could have chose to choose another route or whatever have you. But just case in point, like I said, just always make sure you're careful on these grades. Never try to take them too fast. Never try to be too hard. Because it's like my trainer always says, you can make that trip, or you can make that hill, or you can make that descend a whole lot easier. I don't know what it caught and what it did, and it was reconnecting. But all I said was it's something for you to live, learn, and think about, because you definitely don't want to be that one going down the grade and flipping over the guardrail because either you didn't know what to do, whether it's by your own fault or poor trip planning, or you weren't fully taught properly. Whatever the situation is, whenever you get behind the wheel of that vehicle, that commercial vehicle, you always want to make sure that you are in control of the situation at all times. So please, please. I know a lot of times when you get out here with your trainers, they don't do the pre-trip like you were taught in school. They just kind of sit in the truck and BS for a little bit. But especially for the people who've driven 18 years, and they're still in their first truck, they kind of know that truck better than you. That's not saying that they don't have to do it, or it's not wise for them not to do it, but you don't know. They could have done it before you were up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I know a lot of times they say, "Oh shoot, I got to switch myself to pre-trip," and then they just sit there and talk for a while. Not saying anything bad about them, but I am gonna say make sure you do your pre-trip. Don't let that ever evade you, no matter what phase, no matter what company you end up going with. Always, always, always do your pre-trip, because you'll never know what that could save you from. On Second Gen Trucker, and this has been Breaks and Grades, and love y'all, and hope y'all will catch that video and I'll give you something to learn about, and it's good thinking. I'm gonna bring another one. All right, peace, y'all.